know they are. I figured.
If we have everybody, we can start, John.
We'll call the Plan Commission meeting for January 20th, 2022 to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Crompton?
Here.
Mr. Kellogg?
Here.
Ms. Rohr? Here. Mr. Wunderlich?
Here.
Mr. Dillon?
Here. We have a motion for the previous minutes, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Kellogg?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Wunderlich?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Dillon?
Aye. We have for
First on the agenda would be citizens to be heard on agenda items. This section is for anyone wanting to speak regarding items listed on the agenda. Anyone speaking on an agenda item is entitled to speak for a maximum of 4 minutes. It's not a question and answer period, and staff and the Plan Commission do not generally respond to public comments. Please note speakers who engage in conduct injurious to the harmony of the Plan Commission shall be called to order by the presiding officer and may forfeit their opportunity to speak. Is there anybody that would like to speak on an agenda item? And please be aware that you could also speak when that application is called on further down on the agenda. But if you'd like to speak now on an agenda item, you are able to do so.
Okay, go, Mike, sir.
I don't,
State your name, please.
my name is Lou Fiala, 2614 South Brandon Road. My question is, I received some mail from somebody from your staff that said they're going to be, I believe, annexing in or changing some property over there. And on the back page of mine, it circled our property, but we are east of. So are they, in this agenda thing, are they annexing my property in? Then I'll stay for the meeting, if not.
You can't, they can't answer your property unless you want to be annexed in. They can't just take your property and say, we're annexing your actual property in.
Okay. I didn't know if they could due to, we're gonna be surrounded by Joliet.
Yeah, and you can still be outside Joliet, but
Okay.
Joliet could be all around you.
Okay, because it shows something on this map here. Property in question has got my land questioned.
We could talk to you if you are confused by the map, but nobody is being annexed or requesting annexation that is not the petitioner or owner of the property on this.
Okay, I'm certainly not.
Yeah.
Unless you want to be.
No. This is probably into place. I would like to find out what would be my pluses.
We could talk to you at some point, you know, if you want to stick around, or my name is Jim Torrey, you can look up my information and I'd be glad to talk to you some other time,
Okay.
okay?
Wunderlich's on the end.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on agenda items?
Yeah. Do I wait until it comes up? It's on the second page, new business. It's, P122.
You could do either, but you do have an opportunity to speak when it comes up on the agenda as well, okay?
There are a number of us that want to speak to that.
Okay, you'll have an opportunity to when the staff report is
All right.
read. Moving on to old business, public hearing. We have A1221, annexation of 10 acres west of Brandon Road and classification to ITC zoning. Z621, reclassification of 5 acres northwest of Brandon Road from ITA to ITB. Let's see. And reclassification of 7.6 acres from ITC to ITB. Z721, reclassification of 16 acres located west of Brandon Road from ITA to ITB, and reclassification of 26.7 acres from ITC to ITB. Z821, reclassification of 8.2 acres west of Brandon Road from ITA to ITC zoning. V321, vacation of a portion of Schweitzer Road west of Union Pacific Railroad. V421, vacation of abandoned Brandon Road north of Schweitzer Road. And P1021, revised preliminary plat of Center Point Intermodal Center at Joliet, the Brandon Amendment Subdivision. And FP 721, final plat of Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet Subdivision Phase 25. Under general information, the applicant owners are Centerpoint Joliet Terminal Railroad LLC. The requested action is approval of an annexation, zoning reclassifications, vacation of right-of-way, and preliminary and final plat of subdivision. Purpose is to create industrial lots for future development. Existing zoning is 10 acres, Will County A1, ITA Intermodal Terminal, and ITC Intermodal Terminal Industrial Park. The proposed zoning is ITB Intermodal Terminal Transportation Equipment and ITC Intermodal Terminal Industrial Park. Location is northwest of Schweitzer Road and Brandon Roads. Size of the annexation is 10 acres. The zoning reclassifications accumulate about 63.7 acres. Preliminary plat includes 476.4 acres, and the final plat includes 224.9 acres. Existing land use is undeveloped at this time. Surrounding land use and zoning, to the north is industrial IT, same to the south. To the east is a railroad right-of-way and it's IT, and to the west is industrial IT. Under site history, Centerpoint Joliet Terminal Railroad LLC has petitioned for the multiple requests heard and approved by the Plan Commission and the City Council for their Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet development. Most of the property, including the intermodal rail yard, was annex zoned IT and approved with an annexation agreement as part of Phase 1 in December 2008. Phase 2, which included all of Centerpoint Holdings at the time, was approved in March 2010. Subsequent phases have been recorded from March 2011 through June 2021. Under special information, the petitioner is requesting approval of the annexation, zoning reclassifications, vacations of right-of-way, revised preliminary plat, and final plat for Phase 25 in order to allow the continued industrial development of the Centerpoint Intermodal Center. You could see the attached plans. The zoning reclassification to ITB will allow for cargo container storage areas on lots 57 and 58, and the zoning reclassification to ITC will allow a warehouse use on lot 60. There are no known users for the container areas or future building as of the writing of this staff report. Lots 52 and 53, which are 56 and 58 acres respectively, will include two 990,000 square foot warehouse facilities. Lot 54, which is adjacent to the railroad right-of-way to the east, will likely include additional berming and landscaping. Lots 48, 51, and 55 will further establish the new private Brandon Road right-of-way in a 66-foot roadway, drainage, and public utility and drainage easement. Lot 59, which is 98 acres, will incorporate the subdivision stormwater detention system. The proposed development plans will comply with the existing IT zoning ordinance and the landscape ordinance. All public improvements will be required as per the subdivision regulations and the requirements of the Public Works and Utilities Departments. ComEd easements are being requested over vacated right-of-way. Sewer and water connection, sewer charge fees, and development impact fees will be required as per the previously approved annexation. And it should be noted that this was tabled at the December meeting and to this meeting, and that concludes our staff report.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have the petitioner on hand?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is Chris Spacia. I'm here on behalf of Centerpoint. Centerpoint's development team is also here, and Centerpoint's consulting engineers in the event there would be any questions you may have of them. So by way of background, Mr. Torrey pointed out, this whole terminal, Centerpoint's development, it's subject to an annexation agreement with the city that was approved in 2008. It's been amended multiple times. So the agreement and amendments govern the development in the terminal. Centerpoint's roadway system, all their improvements that have been constructed were constructed for this footprint. It's referred to as the subject property. And any additional territory that can be annexed over the years or has been annexed. So the 10 acres that Centerpoint is seeking to add, that was specifically, annexation of additional property was contemplated in the agreement between the parties. So all this development's been supported by traffic studies and analysis. With the exception of the 10 acres to be annexed. The request today, and the ones that Mr. Torrey just went through, are for property that was included in this original footprint, the subject property. So this is imminent development, warehouses, container storage, jobs, tax revenue. CenterPoint has a proven track record. Hundreds of millions, I've probably understated that, in infrastructure have been invested over the years in this park. So the general location, you can see on the map here, it's east of the UP terminal, north of Schweitzer Road, what used to be Schweitzer, and part of what we're doing is we're going to vacate just a little portion that was not vacated previously, south of Laraway and the rail connection, and west of the UP main line. Old Brandon Road goes up the middle of this property. One of the requests is to vacate Old Brandon. If you recall, Brandon has been now relocated in this area to the east. So the annexation is A1221, 10 acres west of Old Brandon, and that would be zoned to the ITC, Intermodal Terminal Industrial Zoning. So per the annexation agreement, as I said, the city has agreed to the annexation of additional territory to be included in the terminal. This 10 acres is surrounded by CenterPoint-owned property, with the exception of, and I think it's Mr. Fiala's property who just stood up, to the southeast. That property would remain unincorporated. CenterPoint is not looking to annex, nor could it, Mr. Fiala's property. ITC zoning to the south and east, and ITA more intense zoning to the west and north. So the zoning classification is consistent with the surrounding zoning and land uses, and the staff report recognizes this. The City Council previously approved with a unanimous recommendation from the Plan Commission the rezoning of the 110-acre parcel to the south of this parcel from ITA to ITC. That was on May 18th, 2021. CenterPoint has complied with all the city's requirements for annexation of the property, and under the annexation agreement, the city shall enact all appropriate ordinances required to annex and rezone the property. The next request, and I'm going to follow along in the same order that Mr. Torrey did, but now we're going up to the north end, Z621. This is a rezoning of 5.2 acres northwest of Old Brandon Road from ITA to ITB, and the rezoning of 7.6 acres from ITC to ITB zoning. Again, this is a property at the north end of the area that's subject to an approved preliminary plat, and this is in part a downzoning from the more intense ITA to the ITB. This property, you can see it's surrounded to the west, north, and the east by the ITA zoning, the terminal and the rail spur, and the ITB zoning in this location is consistent with the surrounding zoning and land uses. CenterPoint, once again, has complied with all the city's requirements for rezoning of the property. Staff is recommended approval. The next one then to the south, Z7-21, the rezoning of 15.9 acres located west of Old Brandon from ITA to ITB, and the rezoning of 26.7 acres from ITC to ITB. Property just to the south of case Z621, the one we just talked about, and is in part, again, a downzoning from the more intense ITA zone that's on the west side of Old Brandon. This will create a uniform ITB zoned area that's similar to the property to the north, will be in between the ITA terminal and rail spur use to the east and west. CenterPoint, again, has complied with all the city's requirements for rezoning of this property, and the staff has recommended in favor of this. Z821, now we're working our way to the south, and this is the 8.2 acres that wraps around to the west of the 10 acres that's subject to the annexation request. And this is a rezoning of that 8.2 acres from ITA to ITC zoning. Again, a downzoning for more intense ITA, and this will create a uniform ITC zoned area adjacent to the 10 acres subject to the annexation case. So when you combine that with the property to the west, this is going to create the 56.7 acre lot 60 in phase 25 that's included in the final plat that's also pending before the Plan Commission and the preliminary plat. This rezoning is consistent with the City Council's approval, again with your unanimous recommendation of the 110 acre parcel to the south that was rezoned from ITA to ITZ on May 18th of 2021. And this will allow for the development of a warehouse facility. So the first vacation is V321. This is a vacation of Schweitzer Road, west of the UP Railroad. This is consistent with the cul-de-sac that has now been constructed on the east side of the UP Railroad. And that was constructed by CenterPoint at the request of the city, and it's consistent with the city's pending petition with the Illinois Commerce Commission to close the at-grade rail crossing at Schweitzer Road. Again, the city, CenterPoint has complied with all the city's requirements for the vacation of Schweitzer Road, and this is consistent with all these past approvals. The next vacation is V421, vacation of Brandon Road north of Schweitzer Road. This right-of-way is currently owned by CenterPoint, except for one area next to the property that Mr. Fiala, who stepped up here, owns. So that his half of the road will not be vacated. And he has been provided with access to the new Brandon Road, then back to the east.
Could you stop for a second, sir? Because there's a lot here to they can take. So how do the plow trucks, if you're all around him, how do the plow trucks and emergency services get to him when they have to get to him?
He's got a fully improved road, and I can't remember, this is where Carmen might have to help me out. It's either to the north or to the south of his parcel. And that was approved in a previous plat that you've recommended. So he has full legal access.
Continue, I'm sorry.
So the city has previously approved the relocation of Brandon. So Brandon now, north of Schweitzer, is over on the east side. And that was approved in a previous preliminary plat that this Plan Commission recommended. So the vacation of Brandon Road complies with the city's requirements for vacation of property consistent with previous approved preliminary and final plats in this area. So the first plat then is P1021. That's the revised preliminary plat called the Brandon Amendment. On April 15th, 2021, this Plan Commission approved a revised preliminary plat for this same area, substantially similar, finding that preliminary plat satisfied all the city's subdivision requirements, and subsequently the City Council approved the same preliminary plat. So what we're bringing to you, with the exception of including that 10 acres and a slight modification that was made for ComEd up in the northeast corner, is what you approved previously. CenterPoint has met all of the city's requirements again for a preliminary plat. In this case, finally, final plat, ZP-7-21. And this is phase 25. So this final plat will incorporate the 10-acre annexation parcel into Phase 25 and substantially complies with the preliminary plat. Centerpoint has again met all the city's requirements for a final plat in this case. So under the annexation agreement, these requests cannot be unreasonably denied, conditioned, or delayed. And our request, we've already been tabled from one meeting, is a positive recommendation so we can move on to the city council.
How many more phases are there?
What's that?
How many more phases are there? Nobody knows?
What the answer was, it depends on the proposed uses.
So you want to add at least 10 acres, they're going to be warehouses, right?
That, in that area, correct.
How big are the warehouses?
That's going to be ITZ zone.
How big are the warehouses you're looking at?
I mean, we don't have a user at this time.
So you don't know?
I think what Mr. Torrey accommodated, it would
It was like 1 million square feet.
accommodate 1 million square feet.
Okay. There was citizens that wanted to be heard on this, I take it? Ma'am, you said you wanted to,
That's a different petition. That's Palacio subdivision.
Palacio something, okay.
Yeah.
So, this started in 2008. Now, imagine you did another traffic study so we know what the traffic study is. 'Cause
Yeah,
you're adding-
this area was
you're adding
studied,
much
that
more.
study was submitted, and it was approved by the city.
When was the traffic study submitted?
It was submitted, the latest amendment was December or November of last year for this specific area right here.
I don't remember seeing a traffic study.
Mr. Lubash reviewed it, commented on it. So it's been reviewed and accepted.
I don't remember seeing a traffic study at all.
It's not in our packet, is it? Well, obviously it's not in
No.
our packet.
It might have been something submitted directly to our Public Works Engineering Division. That's not something that's included in your packet.
So we have nothing to look at to see what's going on.
So, Mr. Chairman, so, I've got the utmost respect for Mr. Space as an attorney, and Centerpoint is a partner with the city of Joliet. But we don't know what these buildings are gonna be in this area. We don't know how many more. In the hot topic here is that I've heard for the last couple of months on different things is traffic studies. So we
And
don't,
like I said, Mr. Wendler, we have submitted a traffic study. I understand other developments maybe haven't. Centerpoint has submitted one, it's been reviewed.
but we don't know.
Recommendations have been
We don't know
made.
what's gonna be in these areas that you're asking for. Not that I'm saying I'm against it.
Well, we know what the uses are, and this is the way that these have been approved in the past. It's consistent with past practice, but we do know what the uses are. It's industrial, warehousing, cargo storage.
Yeah, but it's gonna add more trucks, and everybody's complaining about the trucks. How's the bridge coming along? Where are we at with that?
It's under construction, I think everything's
You should
moving
A
along.
time frame when that will be done, so that we don't have all this additional traffic?
talk to Pritzker today at JJC. You should have talked to Pritzker today at JJC.
He was there, I missed him, huh? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, as much as I think this is a good project.
I can address the bridge if you would like.
Go ahead.
This is Ed Harrington, Centerpoint Properties. I'm a senior vice president of Centerpoint. The bridge is under construction. It's slated to be completed in 2023. I believe there was a event today with the mayor and the governor announcing their construction on I-80 and the city and state's portion of Hobart Road construction, with their completion of that road was to be completed by June of 2023 is what I believe the state and the city's portion of that road's to be done. We'll be done, complete with our project in February of next year, 2023. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, as much as I think Centerpoint's the best thing for the city of Joliet, along with some other
Yeah.
things around it. There's some questions that you have and I have, and I'm a newbie on the board. And I'm sure some of the other commissioners also. I don't think it's really gonna hurt a whole lot if we table this for a while and give Centerpoint an opportunity to do a little more in-depth traffic studies on, okay, you got this 10 acres here, what's gonna be there? How much
Bob, just so
more?
you know, just so I'm clear,
Okay,
this whole area has been studied. This entire Brandon corridor has been studied. There's been studies of other parts of the park.
So when you guys did
This
the
was all
study,
part of what was contemplated when the property was annexed. This property was all contemplated to be zoned
sir, when you did the
industrial.
study, you already contemplated how many of these buildings you're gonna build, right?
The study, absolutely, right? The study laid out proposed uses. That's all been studied,
And it already said how many millions of feet of square house you guys would have.
correct?
So do we have access to that as the
No.
commission?
Yeah, I've never seen anything. I mean, I'd like to see some stuff, that's all.
Yes, I mean, we can get that to you. If they submitted it, then we can get that to you, but we don't have it attached now.
And I think how this has been handled in the past, these are the kind of details, we've worked with city staff. That's why city staff has not raised any questions, because they know that it's been studied, the study's been accepted. But some of the details do get worked out when Centerpoint comes in and proposes a building,
I'm sure, sir.
specific use.
This board has taken a lot of heat from a lot of citizens, and just not here, but outside, and they get rim-rammed about all this traffic, about everything else, so asking the members of the board to be able to see, read the stuff themselves, look for it, they're the ones gonna have to take the heat from the citizens. They're not elected, but these citizens will still write emails and call them and bug them and hound them in Joliet, so I don't think it's too far out of line, what Bob was suggesting here, for these guys to see it. We haven't seen it, and we have worked with you.
just
City
table it
has
for a
always
while?
Yeah, we've already been tabled one time. These are routine requests, these are the kind of things that, under the annexation agreement, they should move
I was
forward.
not a commissioner back then.
We've tabled things several times, different things, and eventually it gets passed and gets done, which all the information is given to all the commissioners, so they can make up their individual minds what they want. Are you making a motion, Bob?
I'll make a motion, and I'm not against it. I just need a little more information, and I think some of the other commissioners do as well.
Do you have any time frame you'd like to use, maybe?
Uh,
So everybody has plenty enough time?
I don't know, how long is it gonna take? What would you suggest?
60 to 90 days to
60
figure
90
out what's
days,
going on?
That's fine.
Is there a second at all on the motion?
We would probably need to know if it's 60 or 90 days. You know, what meeting you want this to go to, 2 or 3 months.
90 days, that gives everybody a lot of time to get things done.
That would push it to the
February, March,
April,
A.
right? April date.
Yeah, April.
I'll make a second on it, because I haven't seen any of this stuff myself either. There's a motion on the floor, first and second. Roll
Mr.
call?
Kella?
No.
No. Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Wunderlich?
Aye.
Mr. Cox? Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Dillon?
Aye. And so if you could get all that information to the board members, if you please.
Okay, for the April meeting, we'll,
Well, before the meetings too, because you can't just get it that day and look at it, you know. That's why we put it out there, it's out there, you know,
Okay.
next couple of weeks, emails and send it all to us.
okay, we'll look for that information and get it to you before then.
Okay.
And Jim, could you also give us, seeing so I'm one of the new guys here, the studies that were done before, traffic studies that were done, that Mr. Spacious said that were done in last year, 2 years ago or whatever? I'd like to see that just for comparison's sake.
Okay, we
Oh,
will,
so
we
would
will
I.
see what we have and, get that to you. Goes back quite a long time, and some may, supersede others, so,
I
I
understand,
don't wanna
Mr.
give you like information that is no longer valid. But we'll do our best and look
Okay,
to see
thank
what
you.
we have and get that to you.
Okay.
Moving on to new business, public hearing, Z122. Reclassification of 222A Union Street, rear from R3 1 and 2 family residential to R2 single family residential zoning. Under general information, the applicant owners are Maria Ortiz. The requested action is approval of a zoning reclassification. The purpose to allow the vacant rear lot to be combined with the adjacent single-family residence.
Jim? I'm sorry, I thought you wanted to move something up.
Oh, yeah, thanks, sorry about that.
Thanks, John.
Before we do that, if we could bring up A122. I don't know if anybody is here for the annexation of the 8.47 acres east of the northeast frontage road, but the petitioner is experiencing severe health problems, and that has been requested to be tabled, and staff supports that. So if you would like to move that up and table that, we would appreciate that, and then.
Can I get a
we would
motion
have
to table
there's somebody here who wouldn't have to sit
A-1-22?
through
So
the
moved.
rest of the meeting.
Second. Roll call.
Ms. Rohr,
Yes.
Aye.
Mr. Wunderlich,
Yes.
Mr. Cox.
Aye.
Mr. Crompton,
Aye.
Mr. Kella,
Aye.
Mr. Dillon.
Aye.
Getting back to Z122, reclassification of 222A Union Street, the rear from R3 1 and 2 family residential to R2 single family residential zoning. Under general information, the applicant owners is Maria Ortiz. Requested action is approval of a zoning reclassification. Purpose is to allow the vacant rear lot to be combined with the adjacent single family residence lot. The existing zoning is R3 1 and 2 family residential. Proposed zoning is R2 single family residential. Location is 222A Union Street, the rear. The size is 65 by 54, or 3,510 square feet approximately. Existing land use is vacant land. Surrounding land use and zoning, to the north is vacant R2, to the south is residential R3, to the east is residential R3, to the west is residential R2. Under site history, the Zoning Board of Appeals approved a variation to reduce the front yard setback from 30 feet to 19.8 feet at their October 2017 meeting, so that the owner could construct a new covered porch. Under special information, the owner of 222 Union Street also owns the vacant lot to the rear, which is east of her property, and would like to consolidate the lots so that she can erect a garage. Lots with different zoning classifications cannot be combined, therefore the owner seeks this zoning reclassification of the rear lot. And that looks like that concludes our staff report.
Thank you, Jim. Did this go to the zoning board already?
That variance for the
15 to
reduced
30,
front
30
yard,
to
that went
50.
in 2017, but
Oh,
they
okay.
don't need another variance for the garage.
Okay.
They have two parcels with different zoning. They own both parcels. They want to combine it under one PIN number, or we're making them combine it under one PIN number in order to build this detached garage. So we don't want the split zoning.
No, they were good with it too.
We
right?
want it all single family, so it stays single family now and into the future.
Okay,
And they're okay with that.
okay, good. Is the petitioner on hand by chance? For this? You state your name, please.
Maria Ortiz, 223 Union?
Do you have anything you wish to add, ma'am?
Yeah.
You have anything you wish to add?
No, just.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, do we have a motion for Z-1-22?
Did you ask if there was anybody here?
For the audience.
Anybody here that wish to talk on this one? So,
All right, so moved.
Second.
roll call. Thank you, Jim.
Mr. Wunderlich,
Aye.
Mr. Cox.
Aye.
Mr. Crompton,
Aye.
Mr. Kella,
Aye.
Ms. Rohr,
Aye.
Mr. Dillon.
Aye.
So this will go to the city council meeting February 15th with the planning commission's recommendation for approval. Next agenda item is P122. This is the preliminary plat of Palacios Estates subdivision, which is a minor subdivision. Under general information, the applicant owners, Ildefonso C. Palacios. Requested action, approval of preliminary plat for a minor subdivision. Purpose is to create a two-lot residential subdivision. The existing zoning is R2 single-family residential. The location is north side of Holberg Drive. Size is 0.928 acres. The existing land use is undeveloped. Surrounding land use in zoning to the north is undeveloped, unincorporated Will County. To the south is Woodruff Golf Course, which is zoned R2, single-family residential. To the east is undeveloped R2. To the west is undeveloped R2. Under site history, the subject property is Lot 3 of the 4-lot Greenwood Estates subdivision, which was platted in 1979. Greenwood Estates was annexed and zoned R2 district in 1988. All 4 lots have remained undeveloped. Special information, the preliminary plat for the proposed minor subdivision will create 2 residential lots. Each lot will be 20,212 square feet in size and will be 122.5 feet wide and 165 feet deep. The approval will allow the future construction of 2 single-family homes. This is an existing residential area, therefore there should not be any negative impacts to the surrounding area with this proposal. City water and sewer lines are located in front of the property along Holberg Drive. Properties will be required to connect to city water and sewer at the time of construction of the homes. At that time, the property owner will be financially responsible for bringing water and sewer to the property, connecting the property to water and sewer lines, and paying tap-on fees. The property owner will also be subject to the city's development impact fee. Public Works will require cash as escrow for future road and drainage improvements along the frontage of Holberg Drive. Landscaping as per the city ordinance will also be required, and that concludes our staff report.
Thank you, Jim. Is the petitioner on hand for? Step up.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alfonso C. Palacios. The reason about this property is to build my home. I went ahead and split it. The other lot would be for future residence for my daughter. It wouldn't be a home for like, how do you say that, for profit or anything like that.
You just want to build 2 houses there, yeah,
That's it.
for the family.
Yeah, so I have 3 children actually. So, I mean, I don't see a problem with this, but I'm willing to work with the neighbors and stuff like that. I want to be part of the neighborhood, and that's really all I got to
No,
say.
you build a house for one kid, you have, the other ones are gonna want a house too.
Yes, I wish. But anyways, I don't see a problem with this. I don't, if there's a problem, I like to fix it or see what I could do to address the neighborhood people around it.
Is there any questions from any of the commissioners?
Well,
I
can
have
you, go ahead.
Oh, well, no, I'm just verifying, are you talking about splitting the 1 acre lot, or are they the 4 separate lots?
Well, just the one right there.
Yeah.
I already got it subdivided.
Okay,
I'm gonna build my house on one side right now,
okay.
and then later on, I might build my daughter's house later on.
So it'd be on the half acre then, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's plenty big, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna split it in 4 lots or nothing like that. So, basically, that's it.
Any relation to former city councilman Manuel Palacios?
No, but when he got elected, I got a lot of free drinks.
That's all you're gonna
Yeah,
get.
there you go.
Is there anybody, citizens that would like to speak on
Thank
this?
you.
Hi there.
Hi.
My name is Marlene Lewis. I live at 2713 Holberg Drive. I am one of the 2 owners of the land that butts up to his property, Mr. Palacios. We bought our land, several of us, and there's not many of us left, but when we developed the first part of Holberg Drive, it was all different plots that were drawn out by Sven Holberg. There's a connection there with the road. And the road didn't even go down as long as it did. The city of Joliet, who delivers our mail, we were Route 2. They wanted us to put a name on it. We were also being bugged by the developer of roads from the New Lenox Township. He wanted a name on it, and he said if we could put a name on it, he'd be glad to take it, the road. That was not true. We were all paying money to have it plowed. So when it was time, we all met up at the golf course, and we decided, let's come up with a name. It sounds like that would be to our advantage. So we all decided we would call it Hoburg Drive, and yeah, it was in honor of Sven Hoburg. He was a wonderful builder and just a great guy. He was from Sweden, and if you had him work on your house, you had some beautiful work done. So we've now called it Hoburg Drive, and he was truly honored. He laid out all these plots for people to buy, and he had specific directions on what we could build and how we could build it, and nobody said, like, well, you know, I don't want to do this, or I want to do this, and it sounds like I can't, and everything. And that's how we ended up with this beautiful area with lots of woods around us. That's the thing that he was intent on. He loved the woods. Now, I own with a partner who is Jack Carlstrom, and he can't be here today because right now he's in Florida for several months. And we took the land that was up there that now belonged to us. We divided it into, it says an acre lot, but it can't be advertised that way because it's a little short of an acre. But so we have paid taxes on those lots for a very long time. And we always agreed, including my husband and Jack, that if we could get one house up there that really looked nice on one of those lots, it would probably cause the other lots to sell. And another thing that looked good for those lots is the fact that the city of Joliet put in one, whatever it's called, in front of each lot so they could hook on to city water and city, because all of us have to have wells and all of us had to put in a septic system. So we thought, well, that should be attractive if they know they've got city water and sewer. But we wanted to maintain that woodsy area, and we wanted it to look like the rest of Hoburg Drive. And so we maintained that we would sell just under 1 acre lots. So there we are. Now, we dropped, when Mr. Pelosius approached us, we dropped the price of the lot, because, you know, everybody thinks their lot is worth big bucks. And I think that's what Jack and my husband Alan thought. And, but we dropped the price because we said, you know, we thought for sure that, well, we felt for sure that this gentleman would clear the lot, which he has done, and we're happy about it. And we were happy with him. And we were very anxious to see a house go up on one of those wooded lots. So we were rather surprised when we got the notice from you people that he hopes to take the lot that ends in 50 and divide it in half. We are against that because we want to keep that wooded feeling like all the other houses are. And we had different things about, you know, what he can put on the lot. And of course, the city has decided how far back you have to be and how your backyard goes and everything like that. So we sold them at a reduced price. And we were happy to do that because we were thinking, wow, we're going to get a house on a lot, and that will be important. So this petition for dividing a lot is not only something I wanted to do. I know if I was approached at the time, because he bought the lot almost 1 year ago. He bought it on 1/29/2021. if Jack and I were approached and he gave us the feeling that he was gonna divide the lot, I'm sure, well, we know what we would say. We don't want the lot divided. We want to keep that whole feeling of when you get off of Goggle Road and you go by 4 lots, you turn the corner and go down to our area, which is all developed. We want it to look the same. We don't want it to, we don't want all those houses up there, because I think someone's gonna talk about the road. Because from Goggle Road until we make the curve on Hoburg Drive, that road has not been maintained very well. And it's being maintained by 2 groups. Our road is still with New Lenox Township, and the first part of the road is being maintained by the city of Joliet. So you'll hear about that. So I'm just asking the committee if they would just say, I request very much so, that we could just leave that lot as it is. Do not divide it, please. And we'll be very happy with that. And that's where, like I say, I'm one owner and so is Jack Carlstrom. And there's many people in our neighborhood who are here today, and many people who couldn't make it because about 7 of them are in Florida. The lucky dogs. So anyway, thank you for listening to me, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
My name is Joe Galley. I'm a homeowner on Hoburg Drive. Been there for 51 years. The homeowners that live at the Hoburg Drive subdivision opposed the zoning request. When the subdivision was originally developed, 2 of the restrictions were that houses to be built had to be at least 1,500 square feet or larger, and to be no closer than 20 feet from the lot lines. Every house that was built in that subdivision conformed to those restrictions. We feel that those restrictions need to be retained for the integrity of the subdivision. It would not be fair to the homeowners to change zoning that is already in place. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes. My name is Marlene Matke-Turton, and I live closest to the property that we're discussing today. I disagree with the staff's recommendation that that would have no impact on the area. It would greatly impact the area. This would lower the value of existing houses by allowing 2 houses on 1 lot. It would destroy the history of the Hoburg subdivision established many years ago. Joliet is rich in its traditions and needs to protect their traditions. It would destroy the covenant of Hoburg Drive and cease to protect the continuity of the subdivision. With the current covenants under Hoburg Drive, we are told how many feet, in addition to what the city requires. We are told how many outbuildings, if no outbuildings, are allowed. And there are very specific covenants that maintain the richness of the neighborhood. I would strongly suggest the commission go out there and actually see the neighborhood to understand that, yes, it would have a great impact. The quality of our life, the ambiance would be destroyed. The current road, I am half Joliet and I am half New Lenox on my property. I am at the corner. My New Lenox part of my road is being maintained well. The Joliet part of the road is not being maintained. We have deep holes. I have asphalt in my yard every time a car goes by. Many calls have been requested to change that. I am very fearful that you increase the traffic and you allow 2 properties on 1 lot. You are going to multiply the destruction of that road, which is not being maintained. Less than 1 month was given for this hearing, and 1/4 of all the residents on that road are not available to respond, as they are out of state and haven't even received your notice. So I think doing this in 20 days is a rush job, inappropriate, and unprofessional. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Nice. Could I ask a question that's not pertaining to this?
No,
No, that's,
no.
no, sir.
Okay, because the two board members, Wunderlich and Kella, I think I know them.
You can see him
Wunderlich is
afterwards.
garage door and Kella was with the surveyor. All right, I just wondered when I see. the name.
I'm not with the garage doors. That's a code.
Okay, and the other one was Kella with, I can't remember the,
Did you want to talk about this though, sir?
huh?
You want to talk about this?
Yeah, okay. Eugene Schultz. I live at 2684 Hoburg Drive. I am the last house on Hoburg. There's a cul-de-sac. I got about 520 feet on Woodruff Golf Course. And the golf course and I, really get along, all right? And, so it's almost like I got 2 acres, okay? Now, I came there in 91, all right? And the homes are large homes, beautiful property, not too many people know it's there, okay? But I sort of tend to get around Joliet, New Lenox, and all of that, see? So, Holberg, I'm telling you, like it is, he's nuts, he was nuts. Joliet knew Holberg, all right? And I dealt with Holberg, okay? And he used to live in the woods. He would park by me and then want to park on my property, because I'm the last house, and then he would go through the woods. His father had easements on the south end of the golf course, Flowing Well Road. And you wouldn't put a rat in his house. So he parked by me, walked through the...
No, not valid.
Huh?
Not valid.
Oh, I was, okay.
Hey, excuse me.
Okay, well, okay, all right, wait. So now, we all have large lots, an acre, beautiful homes, and if it wasn't for water and sewer, you'd never be able to cut those lots up. I talked to engineering, all that, and I said to myself, with the water and sewer, you ain't gonna cut them lots up without water and sewer, and, there's 4 lots, and it's really private, not too many people know, and we'd like to keep it that way. So now, is this fella gonna build 2 houses?
Yes.
And now wait, I don't understand. I understand he bought 2 lots. 2 lots. So is it 4 houses on 2 lots or 2 lots on 1 acre? I'm getting conflicting information by talking to
2
the people.
houses, sir, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 houses, each get a half an acre, is that correct? Right. Would it be correct?
Well, what I get was he bought, I think you're a little wrong when you use the PIN number, because Gauger, and then without the PIN number, right next to Gauger and Holberg is lot 51. Then you go west.
Yeah.
And then it's 50, 49, and 48. Okay? So, and then I thought, well, I call zoning and whatever it is. And I got conflicting, they said, no, he bought 2 lots. I says, well, wait a minute now. The records show he bought 2 lots. And when you call that lot 3, it isn't lot 3, it's lot 2.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4, 3, 2, 1. Because you got, the lot on the corner is right next to, or, parallel to Gauger. And then it's the next lot over, which is lot 2. And they didn't seem to know what I'm talking about, because when they flew the helicopter, all right, and the big books for all that, I got all that stuff. I bought all that stuff when I was here. So, but the houses are nice, and, you know, well, I got 500 feet on the course and about 3,500 square feet. And the outer one, they're pretty big homes. So when somebody comes in there and wants to put two houses, well, now, wait a minute. So let's say it's a little less than an acre, you got two lots. What are you gonna build on a half an acre? All right, a chicken coop? You know, I don't know. But, you know, I'm with the people, all right? I wouldn't want to see a small home there. And, you know, and the engineers and everybody that I talked to, I said a long time ago, I says, the only way you're gonna split that up is if you have water and sewer. No water and sewer, out, 1 acre. You know, it's just that, I'm saying I knew a lot of people, I checked 6 ways to Sunday, I bought the big books, you know, after they flew it, and they kind of know me at the city, you know,
Okay.
thing over there.
So you're against it, right?
Yeah, oh,
Okay.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
Thank you, sir, for your opinion.
Okay. I'm sorry, the names rang a bell.
Sure.
Wunderlich and the other fellow was on the Rialto.
That's all right.
The name rang a bell.
Ma'am, you wanted to speak? You speak up to the mic.
My name is Barbara Skeens. I live at 2889 Hoburg Drive. I've lived there. I've had the house for just a shot, hair under 30 years. The reason why I moved out there is every lot is different and every house is different on the street, and it was very wooded. And I think I can speak for my neighbors to say we welcome new neighbors. What we really are uncomfortable with is changing the feeling of the neighborhood and of the essence of what Sven Hoberg designed. He bought the land years and years ago as part of a larger what do you call it, an estate, excuse me. And each lot has one house on it. That's what we're looking to keep that integrity. We certainly welcome new neighbors, more neighbors. I think that's one of the reasons why Jack and Alan Lewis bought that property, so it would have more houses in the development. But it's the Hoburg Drive development that we're looking for. What most of the neighbors are concerned about is that subdivided does not go with the feeling, the history, and the cosmetic part of the neighborhood. There are big houses in the neighborhood. There are small houses in the neighborhood. There's very modest houses in the neighborhood, and there's great big houses in the neighborhood. But what mostly I think we're all looking at, and as you can well tell, there's all kinds of people in the neighborhood, and we welcome everyone to the neighborhood. It's just that, please, we really would like to keep the neighborhood as the neighborhood and not a wheat-field development.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Anyone else?
My name's Diana Hasseltine, and I live at 2686 Hoburg Drive, so I'm on Hoburg Drive. Here's what I'm seeing here, is if you approve this single lot for 2 homes, you're setting a precedence. So the other 3 lots will also have 2 homes each on them because of the precedence if you approve this.
That's if somebody divides it, yes. If somebody divides it, or if somebody guys own it, you could always build your own house on there and sell the house.
You could, but the whole thing is, once you approve this for 2 homes, it's easy for someone else to come to you and say, okay, I have the lot next to this and I have this lot.
That's
So
true.
instead of 4
The land has
homes,
to be sold, and that's true.
so instead of 4 homes, you're gonna end up with 8
8,
homes.
yeah, that's true.
We are looking just to keep our neighborhood in the lot sizes that we have and single homes per lot. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question for the petitioner.
Go ahead, yeah, please.
I have a question for the petitioner. When you purchased this lot, were you provided with the covenants? I'm imagining you were, right?
No, I talked to the real,
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Please come up.
yeah, as far as when I talked to the realtor, I didn't really speak to the owners.
Yeah, yeah.
He pretty much, I mean, it was pretty much kind of set in stone where they wanted to get, them lots have been for sale for a while.
Yeah.
And then, I didn't know what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
So I purchased one lot, so.
I'm just curious, because it's typical and standard in the closing of a property, land property or house property, if there's a covenant that's attached to the property within a subdivision.
I don't think there was one on there. I'm not sure, so I'm not gonna lie or anything like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, as far as like the gentleman saying, building a chicken coop, by all means, I'm not building a chicken coop. Actually, I brought my designs here. The house that I'm building
How many
for
square
me,
feet are these houses gonna be, by the way?
Huh?
How many square feet?
it's gonna be 2,000.
2,000.
2,000, all brick
1,500,
ranch.
2,000. Yeah.
It's gonna be a beautiful home. It's probably gonna be worth maybe 450, 500.
Yeah.
So as far as the property value, it's not gonna go down. It's gonna be a nice home. So I don't see why, if I was gonna build a small house, all siding, you know, kind of just like a spot home, so to speak. Now, I would be worried about that too. But it's, by all means, it's nothing like that. It's gonna be a nice home, beautiful, you know, and it's for me. And as far as, I come up with this idea to split it, because that's too big of a yard for me. Who knows, I might not build that other house, but I split it just in case. It's easier for me to split it now than when I build a house and have it, break it up later on. So, I just figured it was easier this way. But I have the plans here if they wanna see them. I mean, it's a nice home. It's not gonna, depreciate the value of their homes around here.
Thank you.
So, that's all I got to say.
Mr. Chairman, 2 comments. One is for the young lady that spoke before,
Yeah.
Mr. Palacios. This planning commission does not have the final say. We just make a recommendation to the city of Joliet.
This, it all goes to the council.
It all goes to the council.
Louder, please.
I say, the planning commission does not have the final say. We just make a recommendation to the city of Joliet City Council, and they have the final say. So it's not up to us to this. And the other question is for the city administration, and maybe Jim doesn't know, was there subdivision restrictions that were recorded when this subdivision was platted?
Yes.
Also, is there a length of time on the covenant? Does the covenants have a length of time?
And they are,
I'm probably one of the newer buyers of a property, and I was given covenants up front and in person. And I want to make one, I believe that he is very well intended and his house will be very nice. But obviously, if you have covenants that say that there has to be blank distance between houses, and he establishes a new subdivision with his rules, he's not going to follow the Holberg Drive covenants.
ma'am,
So those houses are going to be closer.
But ma'am, you brought the house, correct? You didn't
Yes.
build the house, you brought it.
I was the second owner, yes,
Yeah, and when was the house built?
1970s.
1970, okay.
But I also, in those covenants, are information like, I can't put up a side building except for in a certain spot. I can't, you know, there's a
Are you
there's
saying
a
all
lot
this,
of-
let me get this straight. Are you saying all this land is underneath a covenant period?
Yes, Yes,
And it says all this.
yes.
Does anybody have a copy of it?
They get a copy when they purchase the land, so.
Mr. Chairman,
The lot that we're talking about, 50.
No, the covenants, the
So-
original covenant.
So let me interrupt here and just, you know, in a past life, I was a realtor, so let me just jump in here. Typically, if there is something like this, what would happen is upon purchase at your closing attorney would hand you over any sort of, actually it's previous to that, it's like a week or 2 weeks before.
Right.
To review it so that you agree to the covenant before you purchase your property.
Exactly.
So that's why I asked, did he receive notification or any sort of thing? If he did not, then that is a problem with the realtor. And that's a way bigger issue that you would have. But I think at this point, we should assume that it was within your closing papers and closing
Yes.
documents.
Yes.
one question. Covenants are covenants, and that's fine, and no disrespect to you, ma'am. But if these covenants were not recorded with the recorder of deeds,
They were recorded.
they were?
Yes.
Okay, see, we don't know any of this stuff.
Well,
I mean,
they were recorded.
with that being said, again,
Would,
Let me ask you,
until we get more information here.
Mr. Regis, question.
You got that surveyor up here.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Commissioners. Clayton Thurston with Geotech, project manager. On their behalf, we prepared the subdivision platform, and when we re-subdivide a piece of property, it doesn't necessarily supersede any prior covenants and restrictions that go with that property. It's like you're layering it on top of it. So if there are building restrictions to it, they would have to adhere to, the specifications that are part of that. He's not looking to create new restrictions to it beyond what the city applies to their zoning ordinance. And this is obviously has to apply to that, which means, the lot sizes and setback requirements for an R2 zoning district.
Okay. So my question was to you, Mr. Regis, probably along the same lines. If a covenant says that every lot has to be an acre lot or whatever, are we held to that same standard? Do we have to, or can we divide stuff?
Well, the plan commission's held to covenant, the landowner is. And as it stands, I'm guessing Mr. Palacios either does not have a covenant on his lot, or he was not made aware of that. So that's really got nothing to do with the plan commission.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. All right. Anyone else want to speak on this? You already talked, sir. New one? Just new. Anybody new?
Hi, I'm Ricky Nyer. I'm living at 2688 Hoburg, and I moved in under 5 years ago. I was given the covenants. We were told all of these things. I understand these people have been living there for quite a long time. My husband and I recently moved there. We heard all of these things when we moved in, and we were in compliance of it all. So I just wanted to mention that we moved into this neighborhood because it is magical and because of everything that they have said. So I don't want to repeat it over and over, but that's why I'm here. So thank you for your time.
Okay. Anyone else who's not spoken that wanted to speak on this issue? Do any of the commissioners have any questions or concerns or comments? Is there a motion for P-1-22 from any of the commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to table this for a certain period of time, so we can get some more information.
How long would you like to take this for?
And some of the people that spoke here tonight said that some of their neighbors were not around because they were out of state.
Yeah,
And I think we should hear from everybody.
okay.
I think Mr. Palacios should make sure that he got all his pertinent information when he bought this piece of property, because if he didn't,
Okay.
that's gonna be, it's gonna be a burden on him. 60 days.
Can I
60 days?
also- Yeah, can I also just make the suggestion too, that you said that you have your plans? If you can make them available to them, just so that they can see that as well.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to table it for 60 days.
Second?
A lot of these people have Florida, they're not gonna come back now until late April, May.
They're snowbirds.
All right, we got a motion on the floor and it has been second. Can I have roll call, please?
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crompton?
Aye.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Wunderlich?
Aye.
Mr. Dillon?
Yes.
So 60 days would make it a March meeting.
Thank you.
They go to the covenants and other people may be back in town and
They can also write something to the committee as well, to the commission as well, and they can submit that to the city. So if they have the email for the city, they can send it there.
And let me reiterate what Mr. Wonderwood said. We're not the final say-so. The final say-so on everything, it always goes to the city council. Always. Just so you guys all know. We can approve it and they can say no. We could say no and they could say yes. What else we got, Jim?
Moving on, Z222 reclassification of 11.9 acres west of 2800 Schweitzer Road from I1 light industrial zoning to ITB intermodal terminal transportation equipment zoning. Our general information, the applicant owners, Centerpoint Joliet Terminal Railroad LLC. The requested action is approval of a zoning reclassification. Purpose is to provide appropriate zoning for proposed use. Existing zoning is I1, light industrial zoning. The proposed zoning is ITB, intermodal terminal transportation equipment. Location is 2898 West Schweitzer Road, and it's west of Vetter Road. Size is 11.9 acres. Existing land use is undeveloped industrial. Surrounding land use and zoning, to the north is undeveloped industrial IT. To the south is undeveloped industrial IT. To the east is undeveloped industrial IT. To the west is undeveloped county A1 and I3. Site history, the subject site was annexed and zoned I1 light industrial in January 2001. The site was part of the 16,000 square foot metal building and 2 outdoor racetracks for leisure hours hobbyists, but never was improved. City Council approved a petition for a special use permit to allow a truck repair, parking, and carting facility for Legacy Trucking to relocate to the improved leisure hours area in April 2019. Zoning reclassification from ITC to ITB was approved in April 2021 for the leisure hours site. Under special information, the petitioner is requesting approval of the zoning reclassification to ITB to acquire appropriate zoning for a truck parking lot for the adjacent Legacy Trucking operation. A site plan has been prepared by the petitioner that includes an additional 271 truck trailer parking spaces, and you can see the attached plan. The proposed development plan complies with the ITB zoning ordinance. All public improvements will be required as per the subdivision regulations and the Public Works and Utilities departments. Existing storm detention will remain on site. A landscape plan would need to be submitted and approved as part of the future building permit. Development impact fees will be required, and that concludes our staff report.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have a petition on hand for this?
Good evening again, Chris Spacia on behalf of Centerpoint. So we agree with the staff's report. This complies with the ITB zone. Some of the history, case Z119, March 21 of 2019, the Plan Commission recommended approval of the rezoning of the property that wraps around this piece. So to the east, south, and west, and that was from I1 to ITC. Plan Commission on March 18th, 2021, recommended approval of the rezoning of that same parcel then from ITC to ITB. So this rezoning of this location is consistent with the previously approved surrounding zoning to the ITB and consistent with the surrounding ITC zoning. The proposed development plan complies with the ITB zoning ordinance as staff has indicated. So Centerpoint, once again, has met all the requirements for rezoning of this property. Under the annexation agreement, this request cannot be unreasonably withheld, conditioned, or delayed, and traffic has been studied in this area. There's been all kinds of improvements here. This is near the bridge. The Vetter Road has been improved to a 4-lane road. The Vetter-Schweitzer intersection has been improved. Schweitzer Road, It's been improved. It's at 3 lanes in this location. So the infrastructure supports the expansion of the adjacent, property use onto this property for additional parking. Thank you.
And this is for parking, correct?
Correct.
So which with trailers when they're, I mean, who would park there, actually,
271 spaces.
for trucks that are coming in, going out, or overnight, or what?
Correct.
Not to be worked on mechanically or anything like that?
There are, I believe in the building, there's truck repairs.
Over here.
Hi, Carmen Battler, Centerpoint Vice President of Development. The existing facility, 2800 Schweitzer, which is adjacent to the east, does have truck repair.
The other building over from it?
Correct.
And this would be like a parking lot for that repair?
Exactly, yes. No repairs in the parking lot, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know, that, okay, you're not setting up a shop in the parking lot.
Just trailer parking.
Any other questions from any of the commissioners?
I got a question on the, they show up in the upper, that'd be the northwest corner, the potential environmental sensitive area. It looks like trees on the overview. I didn't know if that's what, I'm just curious what you're trying to avoid there.
Sure, it's a wetland.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah, it's a
perfect. Thank
wetland,
you.
so we're just gonna stay out of that area,
Okay.
and it'll just remain as is.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any citizens that want to be heard on this issue? Seeing none, is there somebody wish to make a motion for Z-2-22?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Crompton,
Aye.
Mr. Kella,
Aye.
Ms. Rohr,
Aye.
Mr. Wonderlich,
Aye.
Mr. Cox,
Aye.
Mr. Dillon.
Aye. I should say when you make the motion that you're making for approval, so we all know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So this will go
Sorry.
to
Guys.
the February 15th City Council meeting with the Plan Commission's recommendation for approval. Moving on through the agenda, we tabled A122 under old new business, not for final action. We have none. Under public comments, this section is for anyone wanting to speak regarding non-agenda items. They're allowed a maximum of 4 minutes. It's not a question and answer period, and staff and the Plan Commission do not generally respond to public comments. Please note speakers who engage in conduct injurious to the harmony of the Plan Commission shall be called to order by the presiding officer and may forfeit the opportunity to speak. Is there anyone that would like to speak on non-agenda items? Seeing none, we could move on to adjournment if.
Motion for adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it.
Yeah, I wanna stay here a little longer.
Yeah, what?
I wanna stay here a little longer.
Okay.
Aye.